what you want from me. I'll give you everything. All that and more you'll see. Just stay right here with me. Love is not fiction, but this time the story's about a king and a queen will pretend to be with paper crowns. With paper crowns. With paper crowns. With paper crowns. You don't wanna leave. I'm the one to keep. Unknown enemies out of our fortress with paper crowns. Take what you want from me. I'll give you everything. All that and more you'll see. Just stay right here with me. Love is not fiction, but this time the story's about a king and a queen will pretend to be with paper crowns. With paper crowns. With paper crowns. A king and a queen will pretend to be with paper crowns.
Hey, welcome to the stream. Baylet here with the Equitable Gamer, joined by my co-host and confidant, KP. What's going on, KP? How has your days been? It's only 2 days ago we were here doing the thing.
It's been pretty awesome. It's cold. It's real cold here.
Oh, really? Out in Austin?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like snowing. Oh, it's about to snow, I feel like. But yeah, freezing rain. Yeah.
A fun kind of precipitation. Yes.
Yeah, it's like 30 out here.
Okay, yeah. It's been cold here, but not as bad as up north. My mom is actually in Massachusetts, so it's been dumping up there. She's sent some like winter wonderland some winter wonderland pictures, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
I don't miss it.
Yeah. I would take the heat over the cold any day.
I mean, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm all about the water. I lived in New York for like 6 years though, so I know what weather's like. I was up in Syracuse, upstate New York. Cold. That's what we call cold. We get that lake effect. It's a nightmare up there. But I didn't leave because it was cold. I just left because it was a terrible town to live in. I couldn't take it, man. There was nothing to do up there. So, oh well, that's life. That's the way things are. Hey, welcome to chat. Anybody that's in there, by all means, send a message, say hi, tell me how your day is going on a scale of 1 to 10. How is your day going? Let's start there. And Yeah, man, my week's been pretty good. Lots of things going on. I joined up with my connect groups at my church. So that's been a really positive thing, kind of like getting synced back up with some community and some tribe. One of the reasons why Equitable Gamer exists is we're trying to create community around some conscious people, you know? So by all means, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, follow, pay attention, because we're going to be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30. Rain, snow, or hopeful sunshine.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. Today. Why did we choose the topic for today? Well, it's been something that's been on my mind a little bit. You know, when I was looking at doing this whole streaming thing and starting up these conversations, I was learning a lot from different streamers of kind of like what the trend is, what things going on, and things along those lines. And what I eventually learned was there's actually this new trend where people are, well, it's not new in the sense of like it's actually been a thing for a long time. If you've ever heard of Mika, what the heck is her name? She's the pop star.
Oh, you're talking about the idol.
Yeah, Mika.
Yeah.
Katsune, I think is her name.
Yeah, Kitsune.
Something like that. Yeah, look that up for me, Kev. I can't remember what it is exactly, but basically, it's a what we're talking about today. In some respects, is this creating an avatar of yourself that actually does the talking for you. So I'm sitting here having a conversation with you all today, but instead of looking at me, you'd actually be looking at a digital representation of me. If you've ever seen Ready Player One, similar concept. We live inside that digital space, but it's kind of like a hybrid of it would be my room, but with me as a digital representation of myself. That's what that is basically. But what I'm saying is, like, back in like 2007, I believe, a Japanese company wanted to showcase their digital vocal technology. So they created this character that actually made songs, and you could tell her, you could write songs. You could be a songwriter, basically, send them in and they would create a song utilizing this, they're called Vocaloids, I believe. That was like really like the start of that. It blew up like to the point she was having live concerts, like as a hologram up on stage. People were going to visit, going to these big stadiums and having these huge things. So this isn't necessarily new. I think what's really new and interesting is transitioning people's identity into the digital space. And now we're crossing this bridge of, okay, I'm going to watch this streamer who's a person, but now they're not a person anymore. I mean, there's a lot of depth here. A few years ago, like I think 2017, a Brazilian model turned herself into a digital representation of herself, and she blew up on Instagram, and she's still going. I can't remember her name, but like if you I'll try to pull up the page or something like that. But if you go to it, it's just selfies and pictures of her with people. Like it's this weird. It's this not weird. It's this interesting mix of humanity and almost straight up fantasy, right? Yeah. And that's really where the conversation is kind of starting here, is looking at what they're called as Vtubers, so virtual YouTubers, creating these avatar representations of themselves. And then even kind of what really jump started the conversation for me is Epic's new Metahuman project. So Epic, a gaming company, has created basically a character. If you've ever done character creation in a game, right? You have the sliders and you can pick the eye colors and stuff like. They've built that character creation for like an app that can then be exported out as a rig, or like open source as a rig for other game developers. And the app is insanely powerful. I really encourage you all to go look at it. If I have an opportunity today, I'll pull it up to show you all, but like I really encourage you to go check this thing out. It's scary powerful, right? So it really got me thinking about the ethics of it all, really. You know, we lackadaisically watch these sci-fi movies about people living in like robots or fantasy and being able to do whatever they want to do. And Ready Player One, great example, you know, but we never think about what that means for culture, community, identity, race politics, you know, and again, we're digging into it. Obviously, there's tons of layers here, so but it's really fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. What are some of your thoughts, KP? I mean, if you just had anything off the top of your head.
I don't know. I think it's really cool. Just kind of seeing it in various forms throughout media over the years. Just because, you know, I've been really kind of solidified or focused on game playing, game developing. So like when I see stuff like Second Life, I'm like, oh man, like this is, you know, people are getting an escape and everything. They're creating their avatars however they want to be seen in that world, and they're actually spending like real money to clothe their characters. They commission people to make models and stuff like that. And so I feel like this is like the next level of that, right? Is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna commission someone to make my avatar, and I get to use that on any platform that I want, not just like Second Life or in a game I play. And so you're seeing like these VTubers, like they create content like on YouTube, but then you can import that into like VR chat. You can run around and talk to people like on VR chat, like using a custom made model.
Right.
So it's just really, really cool to me. Like I think like it's naturally gonna become more popular and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm interested to see more. And like with the Metahuman stuff, I think that's really cool because I think I saw within like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, somebody had a working version of like using facial mocap, just using their own camera with these rigs, and it was tracking so well. And I was just like, man, they can already do this stuff. So just imagining what's possible like within game development, but then also within like, you know, other media like film, shows, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm real excited.
Again, if you're in chat and you have some thoughts or ideas around, you know, what we're talking about, please, by all means, like at least say hi or whatever. We'd like to know that you're there and, you know, engage with you if anything. But I'm gonna pop over to this other screen because I'm gonna show you guys this if you haven't had an opportunity to really see it. It's wild. I mean, I don't know how well it's gonna run on the screen.
I am a metahuman. The next generation of digital human
cool.
powered by Unreal Engine. Metahumans are high-fidelity digital characters created by you, the user, on our new content creation platform, Metahuman Creator. I am fully rigged, ready for animation and motion capture, allowing you to work in context. With everything running live in Unreal Engine, my motion works seamlessly
on other characters. I have 8 levels of detail and have been tested on a wide range of hardware platforms, from feature film to mobile. If you're interested in learning about my animation rig or high-fidelity deformations, built on Control Rig, the new strand-based hair system via the Groom component, or how everything is tied together and animated
the fidelity
in
of
sequencer,
it, like
then have a look under the hood in this
wild.
project. This is just a glimpse of things to come.
Yeah, like I feel like we're almost crossing that threshold of like the uncanny valley, like so close. And it's like, you can still tell to a certain extent, but yeah, I feel like definitely within our lifetime, I feel like we're definitely going to cross that threshold.
Oh no, for sure. If you look at the person I was talking about, there's definitely moments where Lil Michaela, there's definitely moments where you look at her when you look at these and you're like, is she real? Is she not real?
Huh.
This is she's not real.
Right.
Well, see, and that's the thing, like I think her body might be, but she changes her head. So like I'm not going to do the whole scroll, but if you go way down to the bottom, right, to like the early phases, you can see it more. Or when she does a video, you can see it a lot more in the video.
Okay. That's wild.
Oh, this isn't video.
So
It's just yeah. What was Nugan saying? I'm not looking.
He's saying it's the nuisance of the eyes that make it so damn real. Yeah, like just those
okay, Nugan,
little...
you know her. Yeah. So sorry, Kev.
Yeah, no, go. You want to talk to John?
Like you can tell she's they call her a robot. She's not really a robot. She's a virtual representation of a character, but like you can see it in the video more, but like there's definitely moments where you're just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like so like this high fidelity, where we're getting to this like high fidelity, you know, space, it starts becoming an interesting conversation. But it's not just about the high fidelity, it's also about the care. Like, so when you were talking about what's that the game you were talking about earlier that I said I don't know?
Second Life.
So I'd like you to explain a little bit more about that in a sec. But when you talk about that, I was thinking of this company called Genies, which creates avatars, and they're about to launch this whole avatar system. And I wanted to show you this. Let's see, where is it? I gotta figure it out. Where is it? I think it's request access. So like, so like they're using a ambassador program. So Cardi B is an ambassador and Jake Sullivan is an ambassador. So these are characters they created, right? Okay. And then what you have, and which you have an interesting, the interesting thing about it is Gucci, or not Gucci. Is it Gucci? It is, yeah, Gucci obviously signs up and they create these, they create clothing that you can purchase. So you're buying Gucci. So I don't know where these avatars live. And I don't think they live in anything specific. I think you model them, you pose them, and then you can use them anywhere. So it's not like they live in a Wii, right? When you're like in a Wii lobby, they're like, I can put this on my Facebook. I can use it for Instagram. I can maybe do animations and have it as like things I put on YouTube, like whatever. Maybe I can rig it, you know, and that's my
It seems like it's all, they're all using like a similar or the same rig for these characters, because it looks like they have all these like pre-made animations, right? But like I don't know what exactly this platform is, right? So I can't really make too many assumptions, but like it seems like they have like at least a couple of similar rigs, and yeah, you're putting the clothes on them and everything. But yeah, I'm curious on how they export it to other apps. Like, how do you get this into Facebook? Do they just have like a API for that they just connect with Facebook, or like do you have to do the legwork and like export it yourself and your animations and everything? But yeah, I like stuff like that because it's similar to Second Life. You would create your avatar, but then there's people that sell items within Second Life, and so you can sell it for how much ever money you want, and then you can put it on the marketplace, or people will get commissions. But one of my friends, Whitney, she actually creates clothes for people in Second Life. I want to see if I can find her Instagram.
So while you're looking for that, so some questions that I definitely have about it is do these characters live within a space kind of like, I mean, Ready Player One is an easy pick as an example of things, so I'm going to use it a lot. But in the Second Life, do you live in a space where you can like bump into other people and things like that?
Oh yeah, they have like a bunch of like
hubs.
Yeah, you have like, I think you have like your home world where it's like you have a plot of land and you have your home and you can like customize all of that too. But then they have like public areas where you can go and do whatever the hell. Like it's pure role playing. So like I imagine they have servers for like everything.
And how disparate, I mean, how different, how much option do you have for what your character looks like?
You have a ton of option.
Like I don't have to be human.
Right, you don't have to be.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, yeah, you can customize your character however you want. I'm not sure how the character creator is right now. I know early on it was pretty basic, but I'm sure at this point they've you know, updated that a bunch. But yeah, you can just see these models that she creates for or these models that she creates for or this clothing that she creates for people in Second Life. And yeah, she just makes all these. She's just a really good artist in general, but like she's been making a bunch of clothes for Second Life characters, and I think she's been doing pretty well with it. So
here's a great question. I mean, obviously, you can't answer it all because you're not her, but
yeah.
Does she focus on women's stuff?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I have only seen her post like women's clothing.
Okay.
But yeah, like I imagine there's a pretty decent amount of players that want that. So
Yeah.
I think she's just kind of focusing on that niche, and especially with her being a woman herself, right? Like,
right. No, for sure.
She's gonna know, like, okay, I want this stuff to look a certain way, and I want it to be cute and everything. And yeah, like it's pretty cool.
I mean, I think that's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about, was like even about part of this this conversation around you. I mean, you said it, like most people probably want female character clothing because most people are going to make female characters. So a lot of my curiosity around this as it relates to equity in some degree is, if men are able to create female characters, there's some interesting unintended consequences to all of this. And I don't think any science fiction movie or show that has kind of touched on these subjects has talked about this. It's always like some other big ordeal. They don't really explain how were we able to accept people for how they look in the virtual world instead of, I mean, I can imagine racism would crop up in these worlds too. Why not? I could imagine marginalizing people in this world would happen too, but no one ever really talks about the ethics of it all. Let me just put us on it. Let me just put it, because I know you have to go soon. By the way, Kev has to leave shortly today. He has another thing he has to go to. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the few points that I have. I might end up doing a little bit of gaming, but I'll probably end the stream a little early tonight, just so you all know. But I did want to just kind of bring up some of these topics right before Kev had to bounce.
Yeah.
So there's this concept called blackfishing, and I'm not sure how many people are familiar with it, but Paul Mooney said it best, right? Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga, right? And the conversation around that is, we love Black culture so much without the Black people, right? So blackfishing really is presenting yourself with all the things you love about being Black: tan skin, voluptuous figure, hairstyles, the type of attitude, the swag, like all of the things that kind of people love about what Black people bring from a culture standpoint. And then they adopt it. Not like, oh, I'm going to wear chains because I love hip hop, or I'm going to wear these types of pants. Literally changing their physical appearance to appear as Black. Now, one of the biggest perpetuators of this that, a lot of people argue is Kim Kardashian. She is a white woman, right? But there have been many instances where she projects herself as maybe some kind of mix of Black. And, Selena Gomez, I'll pop this up. So Selena Gomez got kind of hit up for that in this interview mag spread. A lot of people questions like, why does she look Black? right? Because she's not, and she doesn't identify as that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ariana Grande does it all the time. Where is it? This is one of the ones that people were really like, what's going on, right? So this is Kim Kardashian dressed very similarly to Diana Ross, almost alluding to a Diana Ross character. Tan skin, the hair, everything about this says, hey, this is a Black woman. But
That
it's
did not
not
look like Kim Kardashian.
No, it doesn't. And it's
No,
and at the end of the day, it's not a Black woman. So really the reason why I'm bringing this up is the question arises, if I can now create if I can be anybody I want to be, and what does that mean for racial dynamics? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you had an opinion, Kev, but
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of depth here. So
yeah, it's interesting because like I'm wondering like at what point that would be a problem. Just because in games right now you can go and create an avatar and there's never really that question of like, oh, should you like create this character like this?
mm-hmm.
Are you appropriating culture by doing that? I don't
Right.
think so. Like I don't think I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. The only time I think there would be is like if you're playing some kind of online like social game where you only have a couple of choices, like, okay, choose between, Black, white, Asian,
right?
Yeah, and so it's like, and then based on that, having groups grief other groups based on that. But I don't see that being a thing. But I mean, you still have trolls online, so they're gonna find a way to troll regardless.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the game industry is only moving more online, more socially hacked or condensed, right? There's a guy that's actually creating a platform for, I think, NBA dream fantasy basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And you can create avatars for the, not just basically you can create the avatars to play the game that you're building your stats off of, right? So like you don't even have to like watch the game. Like you can just from my understanding, that's kind of what I'm gathering. These types of spaces are only going to continue to grow, right? Why can I not remember the name of this game you keep telling me?
Well, it's Second Life?
Yeah, Second Life. Right.
Yeah.
That type of environment is only going to continue to be more prevalent as far as I can tell, which makes me question, right, your optimism.
Yeah.
Because look, I get it. Like you can create a character if you're white, you can create a Black character, right? In a game that you're playing, and you can play it, right? It's when it butts up. But the thing is, like, if you're a streamer, then it's not the same, right?
Right.
I mean, this happened to a white photographer who created a digital Black model, and he came out and said, "Hey, I created this model," and people were like, I'm not sure I'm okay with this. So
wait, but just because he made a model that was Black, or was the model like not good?
No, the model was great. The model was great.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like,
oh no, where is it? I thought I still had it up. I don't think I have it.
Yeah.
The conversation was really about, he was profiting off of what he built.
Mm-hmm.
So he, as a white person, built a Black model, and you couldn't tell, like, when she was next to other because in the fashion world, it's already so like photoshopped and picture perfect and everything like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know, right?
Right.
And she's positioned next to real people.
Mm-hmm.
But he's profiting off of her, what she's making. So it's like this question of, if you can dilute and remove the Black people from the equation of the beauty of Black, you're effectively sidelining an entire race because you don't need them, right? So if I am a content creator, some big content creator, and I decide, you know what, I want to make a black, digital representation of myself so that I could, open up to, I can reach more of a diverse audience, right?
Yeah.
But without them knowing, we start talking about ethics.
Oh, so you're talking about like if he made that model, but then started using that to create this persona, online and profit from it, and no one knew until he said something. That would be interesting. But just him creating that model and then like posting it and everything and being upfront about like making it, I don't see any problem with that, honestly.
Well, he didn't mention it at the beginning. Like he was pushing content. Like it's not like he's I can understand if he was a 3D modelist, right? And
so he's not a modeler.
No,
he's
not
a 3D artist.
No. He paid somebody to build this character so that he could utilize it to profit off of. He's a photographer.
Okay. All right.
He's a photographer, and he utilized this character he made to. So he would people would pay him to basically put their clothes on her, and then he would, he would take pictures of her, and he was making money that way. So it's the same with the streaming thing, the whole women thing. When we talk about, I'm never going to remember the name. So the game that
Second Life.
Second Life. I don't know why I cannot remember. I want like special life or something. Anyway, the point, like if I'm a man, I can go on as a woman and solicit attention from men based on my character and make money and profits off of that by abusing.
There's people that do that now.
Yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'm saying there's a line that is not, there's no rules.
Yeah, it's very blurry right now.
And same thing happened in esports. There was no rules when they started it.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna need to be some rules, but like, I don't know. I feel like you kind of cross that line once you begin profiting off of stuff.
Yeah.
Like what's the intention behind it? And yeah, I just see that as kind of just like, you have to be upfront about that stuff. And so, since there are no rules behind it, it's just like, all right, well, shit, what do you do? I have no idea what the solution is for that, because like it's so free and open right now.
Yeah.
And, you don't want to give that up, but also it's just like, okay, well, how many cases is that happening? Like, is that the only case? I oh God.
Nugan's all in.
Yep. But yeah, it's interesting because it's like you have the same thing, and like even in WoW, like there would be people that would create, female avatars just or characters to go in Obermar and like strip down and dance and get money. And it's just like, that's totally a dude. But and so, it's like when it comes down to like somebody, I guess, using that avatar to generate income and buzz and all that stuff, strictly because of that avatar's like skin color or culture. That's where I see that line, getting very, very, very blurry. And like, okay, what do you do if somebody does do that? Like, if you have a problem with it, obviously stop supporting that person. But
but you have to know.
On top of that, like, and so it's weird because it's like, these people could be watching this other like black creator instead of this like black VTuber that isn't actually black.
Right.
And so that's where it's just kind of like, oh, that's weird. What do you do about that? And it's just like, I'd be interested to see like what what would happen if that were the case, if there was a really, really, really popular VTuber that was using a black avatar, and then they reveal that, oh, they're not black at all. I don't know how they would do it. That would be wild, because it's like you can kind of tell just from how people speak, their mannerisms, how they like move when they talk. But like that'd be something else if somebody were able to pull that off, right?
I mean, there's people in real life that pretend to be black and pull it off. So it's like, or they're black and they pretend to be white and they can pull it off, you know? So it's like, I don't doubt someone has the ability to do it. I also can't imagine Black Titter would let that slide ever.
Oh, no, not at all.
That would go down in like Black Twitter history. But before, I know we're at time for you, Kev, but before we go, I just kind of wanted to mention something. So there's this study this woman did around avatar selection, and she had white and black participants, right? And they would build out these characters, and when they presented them in spaces that were high in diversity, well, when they would, so then she would have them present their avatars, you know, without knowledge of who the person was behind the avatar, right? They'd have them present their avatars to high and low diversity groups, right?
Yeah.
So high diversity groups, you know, a big mix, a melting pot of people, right? Low diversity, like one race, basically. And what she found was white people would be more than happy to reveal who they were in real life. Whereas in low diversity situations, Black people tended not to. There's a fear involved of being basically judged for being different. We know this. This is not like, this isn't crazy talk, right? But that feeds into the workplace. That feeds into your life as a game developer of a 2%er in this industry.
Yeah.
If that is the mentality, then imagine being a real person in a low diversity situation where you can't bring your whole self because you don't want to be presented as something different, right? So like, I didn't get an opportunity to read the whole study, but I just thought that abstract was really powerful in kind of grasping this concept around what an avatar could really be and what it really means to do. There's also an escape evolved, and that's what I'm going to talk about after KP leaves, because there's a positive side, right, of this whole thing. And I don't want to act like I'm just like, no, this is terrible. I don't think it's bad or good. I'm really interested in seeing how we navigate it. That's my curiosity, right? Yeah. But KP's going to leave. If you want to let us know where you're going, what's going on.
Oh, yeah. So, we usually have this thing. It started up about a couple of years ago, but we call it Manhattan Night. And it's just me and a couple of very close friends. And we kind of just get together and talk about, you know, what's going on in our lives. It's kind of almost like therapy. It's like, you know, we kind of just, we know we're within this very tight-knit group, and anything we say, like, it stays within that group, and it's just a space to oh, sorry.
Are they calling you and telling you? Where are you, KP? Get in here, bro.
But yeah, like it's just a nice space, like a safe space to, you know, just kind of let it all out, and you know, just anything you need to talk about or talk through. And yeah, the tradition is we always have a Manhattan cocktail to start it off.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's really cool, and I would definitely recommend like you to do it with any of your super close friends, really anyone in the chat, like start something like that up, because it is invaluable. Like I think it is a form of therapy. So yeah,
absolutely.
That's where I'm heading.
No, I really appreciate you taking the time. And just as like a plug, like if you're liking the content so far, please like, subscribe, follow. Next week we're actually going to be talking to Max and maybe some other concept artists about how they go through the process of dealing with demographics, like if the character should be male, female, what race are they, things along those lines. Do they have the ability to make decisions on that? How they do it in their personal lives in their personal projects. So that should be very interesting. But I just wanted to say thank you, KP.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later, man. And for the rest of the group, you'll see him on Tuesday. But we're going to continue talking. Peace.
Later.
But we're going to continue talking a little bit about what's going on in this VTube avatar metahuman space, some more positive notes around that space. I'm just going to turn off the cam. There we go. Yeah. Peace, KP. Hey, thank you for joining Running Sloth. Nice to see you here. For those of you that might just be joining us, we basically broke down some of the curiosity on the consequences that could come out of this whole VTube trend, this avatar space metahuman idea, where we have an opportunity to present ourselves digitally in the real world. So we talked a little about race dynamics. We talked a little about, if you're not familiar, blackfishing, which is basically presenting yourself as something you're not. In the case of blackfishing, presenting yourself as a black person, even though you're not a black person, and reaping the benefits of that without having to really deal with the difficulties of being black in America. So what I did want to kind of switch us to was some of the interesting notes that I had around what it really means to a couple other groups. Obviously, I am not personally living with disabilities, but what I've learned through a couple conversations or through a couple of readings that I did, and obviously my own thoughts, is it certainly provides an escape from personal maybe concerns or ridicule even about the way you feel or look, given that you can present your best self. And honestly, that really comes back to the title of this talk, is this idea of presenting your authentic self is to be a genius. So Thelonious Monk said to basically be yourself, be authentic, is to be a genius. And what he's referring to is really this idea around the people that are allowed and have the ability and do work towards presenting themselves and doing what they believe in often reap rewards from that. So in the case of someone maybe living with a disability, they can then present themselves as a character that doesn't have a disability, how they see themselves as a, I question the use of my words, because I obviously, like I said, I'm not living with disability. So to say they feel like a whole person could be very myopic of me. But my curiosity around that really is to be able to create these characters without the disability these people are living with, allows them to live without judgment. And I think that's part of the conversation of where the real positivity comes out of these digital representations of these people. So, given that we already live in a world of anonymity, right? So online anonymity, you can basically be or say anything you want to with very little recourse or very little, what's the word I'm looking for? Repercussions, right? We now are going down another layer with this digital representation of ourselves. So we're not just removing, our voice from the mix. We're also now removing our physical form if we are, per se, on camera. You can also change your voice. So if you're a man and you want to create a female character, you could create a female character and adjust your sound to sound like a female. You're excited? That's excited. He's looking forward to the opportunity. Nice. I think I was missing the other side of this. Oh no, yeah, I didn't have the chat coming in on the YouTube side. Yes, Matt, whenever you're ready, we'll get you together. We'll get you popping. Get some ideas written down, and we'll see where we go from there. Maybe we could share them next week. Do some drawings. I don't know if you've tried that or anything. So really it's like, it's this power of being uninhibited, right? So now you have the ability to not question how people are perceiving you with the reality of it. Instead, you can push the most positive face forward, and then you have the ability to really feel comfortable and confident. And I think that's a big part of this VTube space is, you know, we come on these streams and we present ourselves and we have to talk oftentimes to ourselves, right? It can be a little unnerving, you know, to be looking at yourself and talking and not having really any feedback on where to go. So by, you know, using this digital representation, I would imagine I could talk to myself even easier because it's not technically me, right? It's not technically me I'm looking at. I'm holding you to it, Matt. Holding you to it. I expect to have some form of Matt drawing to showcase to the stream on Tuesday, which is perfect because we're going to be talking to a bunch of concept artists, so it'll work out just right. You'll get some really good critique. You know, I do think there is some conversation about what that escape means for certain individuals, though. Like, this is not probably a popular opinion of the matter, but you know, when I think about this, to be, for instance, like a member of the LGBTQIA community, in a lot of cases you have an opportunity to hide that if you so choose. Obviously there's distinction to that in certain cases, but to be able to move yourself online and to, you know, project yourself as something you're not, I hope that people recognize the moral and ethical, like, dilemma there. Because at the end of the day, I think KP said it really well. He said, you know, a lot of times you can tell who a person is by their vernacular or their mannerisms and things like that. Like, I think the difficulty for like race issues, like not just black, like Asian, Indian, like any race kind of issue, is there's a culture embedded within that race that people are really proud of. And I think we don't often want to be something we're not. We want to be appreciated for the things that we are, right? And I know for me personally, whenever I create characters in games, it's almost always a dark-skinned black female. And one, because I find them attractive, and that's who I get to look at the entire time, right? Obviously, I'm playing the game, I have to look at this person a lot. I want them to be somebody I find attractive, right? And the other side of that is a respect thing. Like, they're so underrepresented, and they're often seen as cast away or disposable, that for me, I want them to be the hero of every story. You know, I want them to be the powerful, the loving, the vulnerable characters that we see in these games. So those are the characters that I create. And I would imagine in a world like Second Life, which is literally a game focused on just existing, you know, in a space, Second Life, like not reality, but my second life, I would probably create a character in that same vein as well, but I have ethics and morals to recognize I wouldn't be abusing this character that I've made. And I think that's really where I get worried, is the amount of people out here that are already abusing real life marginalized people in these spaces. It's easy for them to almost infiltrate and demean those individuals on a much more physical space. And I understand, like, we're talking about a digital space, so it's not technically physical, but when you think about the physicality of the human form, you know, we start talking about features and things like that. When I was reading an article, just as a small tangent, I was reading an article about the orc evolution, the evolution of orcs. Like, so orcs are a fantasy race, like elves and things along those lines. And Tolkien is often described as being the originator of it, but he was influenced by works like Beowulf that had races in there that were called like Orogrons, I believe. And then there's even I think Viking lore. Well, it's kind of Beowulf anyway, but there's other lore that has characters that are described as such. And then Tolkien adopted them. And when you read his descriptions, they're actually very racist. And he says they resemble the most unattractive traits of the warrior-like classes in the Mongol race. So it's like they're obviously created from a perception of a person from a like it's the same concept when we start talking about avatars, right? We are creating things based off of the reality, right? So there's some reality, like I can have a character that's blue skin with horns, but we understand that blue is a color and horns exist in the space. So like, that kind of thing. So Tolkien basically created these characters and described them as utilizing what he found to be very unattractive humans, right? And, of course, this perpetuates through time and they're developed and over time and everything like that. And then there's this like blossoming of conversation. Like Thrall, if you're familiar with Warcraft, Thrall is an orc character. He grew up in slavery by humans. And up until this point, orcs have always been seen as savage and violent and yeah. It's hard not to draw commonality with the struggle between orcs and humans, with white European ideals and African slaves. So there's a lot of commentary there, but and that's a whole other conversation for another day. But Thrall grows up this is the first time we see orcs as humans, right? And then from there, you start seeing people develop orcs as more humanoid and more attractive to some degree, right? I imagine this type of misuse of these platforms, these abilities to alienate an already marginalized community to some degree, because we understand from other conversations we've had that the loudest people are often the most toxic in this community at the moment, right? So there's a lot of support, people that are often, given a hard time are like heavily supported by their followers and the community overall, because they recognize the fact that there are actually more good people in the world. And I'm an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I believe in people. I believe in humanity. I believe we have the ability to do the right thing. I just think we don't do enough on a day-to-day. We do it retroactively. We do it in response to. We aren't proactively being anti-racist. We may not be racist, and we may support people that are going through tough times, but we're not standing out in front saying, this, cue the half orc. And I always pick the half orc. I've always loved those characters. I've always loved the orcs. I always thought they were very dynamic. And in some games, they were really the only characters I could pick with the right skin tones. Like, I mean, shit. That was a big reason this occurred too. So, cue the yeah. And the other snide remark to that is like, yeah, humans and orcs getting it on. Yeah, I got you. But why not? Why not? Why not? So, yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty much where we're going to end this conversation, because there's not too much really to talk about here other than the hopefulness that as these new platforms are released and as this new technology becomes even more readily available to the population as a whole, I caution us to be ready and to act as advocates for the inevitable toxicity that will occur from it, and overwhelm it with the positivity that I know we are capable of, right? And really that we need to have those deep and hard conversations now before that happens. So I really appreciate you all, joining in on these conversations and listening to me ramble on about this stuff, because I really believe that this community that I'm trying to build and the people that are actually enjoying this content, we will continue to have hard conversations and find consensus and find solutions to making good decisions around what we see happening. So please, by all means, like I said, like and subscribe, follow, ask questions, leave comments. Let me know what you guys are interested in talking about. I'm always looking for topics. I'm always looking to bring people onto the stream that are interested in talking about these topics. So anyone that knows anybody or is interested, just reach out. I have the capacity right now. One day, hopefully, I'll be inundated with requests, and then I'll have to slow things down a little bit. But for now, this is where we're at. Next week on Tuesday, I'm not sure what we're talking about Thursday yet, but maybe this orc conversation would be interesting, because it threads a lot of interesting needles. But Tuesday, we're going to actually be bringing on 3D Max. He is a concept artist working at working at Gearbox. He does a lot of character design, and I'm interested in having a conversation with him about how he makes decisions on the demographics that he showcases in his concept art. So how does he decide on making a male or female character? How does he decide on making the character strong or thin or tall, short? How do you decide on skin tones or what they look like racially? Does he have any choice in the matter? Is he just given a list of ticking points and he's just got to rattle them out? And then, as well as talking about his own personal work, he is a white man, so I am really curious to understand how he navigates drawing and creating characters of different races, what kind of research he does, who he talks to, and what kind of questions he asks. We may be inviting other concept artists on. I've actually pinged him to let me know a few. So it should be a very interesting chat around art and game development and concept art as a whole. So I really look forward to seeing you all there. By all means, share this and let people know. That's the conversation for next week. I hope you all look forward to continuing the conversation. The issues will remain until good people face them. I appreciate that so much, Matt. I was really nervous about starting this. I'm nervous every time the stream starts. Heart's always pumping. I'm curious to see if other people are interested in it at some point. And I'm really excited to see you guys engage more. I know this is just a start and not a lot going on in chat. I'm trying to create systems for chat to kind of ask questions, me to ask questions of chat and kind of getting you guys involved more and having some fun games for you, but got to start small. Still a lot of time. It's very time consuming getting all this together. So again, have a great night, everybody. Talk to you on Tuesday. Peace.